Here's another look at Tanya Smith, who in addition to being a fine high jumper is a very fine hurdler. She was disqualified last night when she ran into a hurdle and failed to qualify for the 100, but she'll be in the 300 later. Oops, what was that, 6 feet?
First attempt at 6 feet, and she's had a couple of clearances where she's hit the bar on the way down, but had plenty of height. Now that one is looking a little bit like could be 6 foot jitters. This is a new barrier now, and we'll have to see. Let's take a look at her 5'11" clearance. You'll see that she hit it on the way down, but look, very long stride. She keeps her arms down low on the way up, but then watch her gather there very nicely, and she timed the way she unarched. You have arch over the bar, then you unarch after the bar. She timed her unarch absolutely perfectly, just barely dragged it on the way down. It stayed on. That's the way you want to hit it. If you got to hit it, you hit it on the way down, because if you drive it into the standards, it stays on. I think she could jump 6 feet if she's pressed, which she is. Chi Johnson also cleared 5'11", and that's Chi Johnson there. But Tanya Smith is ahead on misses, so she must make 6 feet in order to retake the lead. And she had a very good first jump. She didn't travel down the bar as much as she had on her previous jump at 5'11". And if she hits it in the right spot, as she gets into her concentration, if she hits it in the right spot, she could clear 6 feet. So a couple of girls jumping at 6 feet, that's very, very promising.
Here's Johnson. She fails to clear it at 6, as did Smith. Dwight, let me ask you, is there any benefit to being a hurdler? Is there any similarity to the high jump to the hurdles, or is that pretty far reach?
Well, I tell you, Tom, I didn't run anything but the high jump when I was in high school, but a lot of guys that I competed against were fine hurdlers, and I think the whole timing, the rhythm, to a certain degree, the speed that hurdlers have is a great asset in the high jump. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat. I had excellent technique, but I didn't have great strength, great speed, or great spring. As we look at Tanya Smith, who does have great spring, and as we said before, a good hurdler, and that was just a matter of having her height in the wrong place. She's pressing a little bit more because it's 6 feet. She has the ability. She showed that on her clearances at 5'10" and 5'11". I think she's just pressing a little hard now. She wants to jump this. Plus, I think she wants to get it over with because she's got the 300-meter hurdles to run a little later.
And we have the 1,600-meter event for boys, and this field will include, from Lakewood, T.J. Reyes, Hector Hernandez from Mar Vista running in lane 2, Daniel Das Neves from Helix in lane 3, Steve Guarini of Santa Rosa in lane 4, Luis Quintana, or Willie Quintana, if you will, from Aurora Grande in lane 5, and obviously the man to beat. Robert Walker of San Pasqual in lane 6, Richie Boulet of Sir Francis Drake in lane 7, Todd Tressler of San Marcos running in lane 8. And if Quintana doesn't win it, I think Tressler will. And in lane 9 from Northview is Joe Garcia. Once again, if you've just joined us, this is the 400-meter track. Record Jim Ryan, East High, Wichita, Kansas, with the national high school mark. And Mark Schilling of Garden Grove High School, 4:05.4, California State meet mark.
And that Jim Ryan mark, it's like it'll never be broken. Only 3 high schoolers have ever broken 4 minutes. The last one to do it, Marty LaCory, back in the 60s. Jim Ryan, of course, maybe the greatest middle distance runner this country has ever seen. And we have no one that has come close to breaking 4 minutes, even though Luis Quintana last week went out in 4-minute pace and then died a horrible death just hanging on to win the race at the wire. But he certainly did go out as hard as he could to try and come close to 4 minutes.
All right, they get underway, and they were bunched tightly as they all scrambled for a leadoff spot in this boys 1600. Quintana is number 17 as you watch them run, and leading is Hector Hernandez, leading the pack. He's from Mar Vista, but the pack indeed is very, very closely bunched. Running in the number 3 spot is Quintana, and he's up against the inside, actually running in the number 4 spot now and moving up just a bit. All right, we'll go back to the girls' high jump, and here's Tanya Smith. Nobody's cleared 6 feet, but she's had fewer misses, I think, at 5'11". Is that correct, right?
Exactly right. And Chi Johnson just missed 6 feet as we got the start of that boys 1,600 meters. Chi Johnson just missed 6 feet, so Tanya Smith has won it. Now it's just a matter of making this, and she doesn't give it much of an effort. She will win the competition at 5'11", and she can get on to warming up for her other event, which would be the 300-meter hurdles. But very promising to see a couple of girls jumping at 6 feet. It's been a while since we've had a couple of girls that have been up that high, so it's nice to see.
All right, Luis Quintana is leading, and running stride for stride with him is Daniel Das Neves of Helix.
Quintana apparently deciding to play it a little bit more conservatively, go for the win. After all, this is the state high school championship. It's quite an honor to win that crown. running fast times is nice, and it's important. But when there's a championship on the line, whether it be a state high school championship, a world championship, a national championship, those are something that can never be taken away from you. You will always be a state high school champion if you win this meet. So he's running a little bit more conservatively. He knows that he has the talent to beat in this field. If he runs conservatively and is able to perform up to his ability, he shouldn't have any trouble winning this race.
That is Hernandez on the inside and running easily on the outside, shoulder to shoulder with him as they come past us here for the second time. We've gone halfway through. That is Quintana. Quintana is not going to double back in the 800, so he figures that this is it for him tonight and just to go all out. He's at 2:10.3, Dwight, after a 64.2 first 400. Now they've gone through 8 at 2:10.3.
I think we'll see Luis take control of this race pretty soon. As you said, he's one of the best half-milers in the country. He's chosen not to run that event tonight. So all of his eggs are in this basket, and I think everybody in the race knows that. He's decided to take over the work now. He's going to buck the wind. He's going to set the pace. He's challenging anybody else to come after him.
All right, he's taken the lead and begins to widen the margin now as Hernandez falls back to third. And we'll check and see who that is coming up, running in the number 2 spot and challenging Quintana, running stride for stride with him as the Helix High School runner. Hernandez falls back, running in the number 2 spot now, but not being able to answer the challenge.
That's Hector Hernandez, and Luis Quintana simply said, fine, you want to try to run with me? Fine, we'll run. And it looked like he was going to try and take over. Now Luis Quintana is going to turn it up a notch right here.
But it still remains a very bunched field at the lead. This is the bell lap. That last lap, the third 400 meters, run at 61 flat.
I'm telling you, Tom, I'm surprised to see this. He threw in a 61-second lap. He didn't drop the people like he thought he was, and this is going to be a sprint down the last 100 meters between 4 athletes.
It is still Quintana leading, but as you said, Dwight, it is going to be a big 100-yard dash to finish this off. Young man from Helix coming on. The young guy from Helix coming on, and that is Des Navies. Des Navies is pulling away from Quintana, who'll be hard-pressed to finish third.
Quintana has totally given up. He ran the race the way he wanted to, and it did not work. He can't believe it. He's holding his head in his hands. He can't believe that the race turned out that way, and Daniel Des Navies was not going to be denied. He just decided, okay, I'll run the race whatever way I have to. Luis Quintana is a big talent, but I think I can run with him. Quintana is breaking down on the track. He cannot believe what he has done. He's down on his hands and knees.
Getting some consolation as you see him there, prostrate on the track, and that is a very tough picture indeed. I'll tell you, the last 800 meters turned in 2:02. And, of course, that last 100 just sprinting away was Des Navies of Helix High School. And he now, with his arm up in the sign of victory, being congratulated. And here he is as he comes on to Quintana and not only puts Quintana away, puts the rest of the field away, and then the rest of the field almost puts Quintana away.
With 300 meters to go, I thought Luis Quintana was just going to say goodbye, and he never did. The rest of the field realized maybe that he was not as fit as they might have thought he was. Daniel Des Navies appeared to get a big boost of energy just by the fact that Quintana had not pulled away from him, and he absolutely ran him into the ground. Luis Quintana only hanging on for 4th place after being in 1st place with 100 yards to go, as you said, and it's a huge victory for Daniel Des Navies.